Those are the words of Conor Benn. He thought he was going to knock him out, but he got too greedy. And let me counterpunch. I don't think it was greed at all. I think it was more of over eager. You know, greedy is more like trying to do too much at one time. You know, it's a self-motivated thing because he's a Benn and Chris, of course, is a Eubank. So yeah, he had vested interest in it. But I think it was just his over eagerness through the whole fight that is the reason why he didn't catch those shots like he caught in, I think, the fourth round. He buckled Chris Eubank Jr. You know, and I think because of the over enthusiasm, the over eagerness, that's why he couldn't land that shot. He wanted it too bad. You know, so he was just trying to load up on shots. You see him lunging those left hooks and overhand rights, and he was missing because he wasn't taking his time to properly set up the punch and make sure he was in the proper distance to land that punch. That's what that was about. You know, not the greedy part. You know, if greedy would be him trying to throw too many punches at one time. No, he wasn't. You know, both of these guys were throwing punches like mad, right? Both of these guys were just, you know, throwing down, banger, you know, and that's why the rematch was, you know, it was going to happen. And of course, I will be live for the rematch. I will be back home. So I think the question, though, just speaking on hurting Chris Eubank, we found out that Conor Benn can crack off the eggs, right? He doesn't need the eggs to punch. You know, but how much of that was due to the stipulations of the negotiations? You know, Chris Eubank Jr. had to come in at 160. He should be fighting at 168. He's getting older. He's getting a little wider. He's getting bigger, naturally. You know, but all that, was that punch that landed that hurt Chris due to him starching himself? You know, he was fighting against a lot of stuff in there. He was fighting against the, of course, the weight stipulations. Then they had a rehydration clause, and you know, and he couldn't gain over a certain amount of weight during that time. So you ask yourself, how much of that was just due to him not being where he should have been? You know what I mean? And I don't want to take away from Conor because Conor is the smaller guy. People would argue, same difference. Like, yo, Kurt, he came up to 160. Well, no, he really didn't. He came in at 156 point something, right? So he didn't even make the 160-pound limit. But he was still able to crack. But he was at a healthier weight. Okay, so in that regard, you know, you can you can sacrifice adding a couple pounds versus starching yourself and losing a couple pounds going round after round, especially 12. You know, Conor Benn, I'm interested to see what he's going to do about that over eagerness or that greedy, you know, because I don't see him letting up. You know what I mean? Especially he knows that he can hurt him. And I think that was his downfall. He was like, oh, I got him. You know, I'm going to get him. I hurt him in the fourth. 2 rounds, I'm going to get this bum out of here, right? I'm tired of him talking shite about me and my family, right? So I think nothing's changed. I think he knows, like, yo, I can hurt this guy, you know? So he's still going to come in with the same mindset. In fact, he may come in with a deeper mindset or more desire because he took his first L from a guy that he has grown to very, very much dislike. You guys tell me what you think of Conor Benn stating that I got greedy. I thought I was going to knock him out. We will see in the rematch. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.